Are you unhappy with your current config in CSGO? Well, today I'll show you everything you need to know to make it just right for you. Welcome to the Ultimate CSGO Config Settings Guide 2022. Hey, what's up guys, it's Turbo here and welcome back to a brand new video. And if you guys do end up enjoying today's video, hit that like because it helps the channel a lot. Anyways, let's jump right into it. So we're going to start off in game by looking at all the settings. So as a rule of thumb, there's a couple settings that you actually want to leave on high because it can interfere with shadows. For example, global shadow quality, you want to put this on high no matter what. However, if you have a lower end PC, you can always put model/texture detail down to low. I mean, it's all personal preference. If you have a good PC, you can just leave it on there. Texture streaming can also be really good if you have a lower end PC. Effect detail, you can leave that on low, but shader detail does need to be on very high. Also, boost player contrast makes it so much easier to see enemies. Multi-core rendering gives you more FPS no matter what. And then when it comes to FXAA and multi-sampling, if you have a really high-end PC, you can turn these on, but if you want to get more frames, then leaving it on none can make the biggest difference. Same with texture filtering mode, you want to just put that on bilinear. And then of course, VSync off, motion blur disabled, triple monitor mode. I've never used this once. So since I started recording this, I lost my rank. But guys, you want to turn this off. Game instructor messages, useless. Developer console, yes. And the first map we're going to be checking out is this map right here. First map we're going to be checking out is the config generator. So let's hop right in. The first thing you need to change is clear decals. This is really useful. I usually bind it to mouse 3. And essentially what this does is if there's any bullets on the ground or if there's any blood or anything at all, you can actually just press your key. It'll clear all of it up. This also has a bunch of configs from pros, legends, people from the community, donators, all that stuff. But we're not going to be going over all that. We have a dedicated Crosshair and Viewmodel map. But for the HUD, obviously, you can customize it to however you like. And obviously, you can customize it from the in-game menu. But this just makes it a little bit easier to adjust everything and make sure you have just the right config. I like to put the score on the bottom. I like to put the team numbers on, obviously. I actually like to simplify the HP and ammo style so it takes up less space on your screens. Also, in terms of your radar, I like to make it as big as possible and I like to zoom it out to where I can see pretty much the entire map. Obviously, if you zoom it up too much, it's hard to see the fine details, but if you find the right middle ground, then you can get the best of both worlds. Same with rotation and center. Obviously, these are all down to personal preference. Personally, I like to turn off centering and I like to make it rotate so I can see more of the mini map, and also it kind of rotates with me. And that's pretty much it for this map. These are all the things you can customize on here, but obviously you can also do it from the settings. This just kind of simplifies it a little bit. All right, next map. The next map is Crash's Viewmodel Generator. Okay, so obviously you can customize it any way you want. They have all these different presets, so you can kind of just check them out and see what works for you. Personally, I like the M7 one, and I like to put the view model movement on the lowest, but obviously you can swap it to your left hand, your right hand. You can increase or decrease the FOV. Obviously, for looking at skins, you want to have a higher FOV. And then for the position, it's all really down to personal preference. You can have your view model look like this. And honestly, kind of cool, but also kind of weird at the same time. So M7, that's all I really do. And in my opinion, this is my favorite view model. And at last, boys, run Crash's Crosshair Generator V3. And one of the main benefits of this map is the fact that you can actually take any of these crosshairs and kind of use any of them. Now, however, it's not very up to date because look at Team Liquid's roster, Nitro, Twists, yeah, what is this, 2019? Optic Gaming is on here, what? Like, I typically like to go for a crosshair like NAF's, obviously, or Twist has a nice crosshair too because it's a little bit smaller. But it's nice and green, you can kind of see everything, and it's not a bad crosshair at all. But NAF's is just a little bit bigger and it's also blue. But obviously you can also go through all the different styles, you can fully customize it. If you want to, you can actually customize your crosshair in game and just try to figure out what works for you, because some people like a larger crosshair, some people like a smaller crosshair. It all really comes down to personal preference. Like if you want to play on a crosshair like this, you can, but it's not going to be very visible in a lot of situations. Since you can actually just pause the game and set up your own crosshair, that's probably the best way to do it. But if you just want to use like a custom preset crosshair from a pro, then this map is definitely a great option. Like we can even have Mo's crosshair. Like look at this. It's like a dot crosshair with a normal crosshair all in one. Here are some of the best launch options that you can use. Obviously, Dash Novid. This one's really good because it skips the intro and it prevents you from literally destroying your eardrums. Dash No Joy frees up a little bit of RAM by disabling all the controller features. Dash Tick Rate 128 allows you to practice in 128 tick servers, which if you play a lot of Faceit or ESEA, or if you just play a lot of 128 tick in general, this can be very, very important. And then if you play on like a 240 or a 360 hertz refresh rate, it never hurts to do dash refresh and then whatever refresh rate your monitor is. Okay, there's also a couple really good server commands you can do, like CL_interp ratio 1. This makes it a little bit more consistent. Like, it makes the server more smooth and it updates more consistently. CL inter 0. How to set up a jump throw bind. If you want to do any kind of like jump throw smokes, you need to have a bind for it, because people say that, oh, just jump and left click at the same time. But if you're off by a few milliseconds, you're going to miss your shot. So open up the console and type in bind space. And then I personally like to use V, but you can use any key you want, and then space minus attack. And now when you want to do a jump throw, you just get to your lineup, aim, hold down left click, and then press space and V at the exact same time with your thumb. By the way, don't try this smoke on 64 tick. It doesn't work. But if it is on 128 tick, perfect smokes every time. Best Nvidia settings. Open up the Nvidia control panel. Personally, I actually don't play with G-Sync because it adds a little bit of latency. And then go to adjust image settings with previews. Use my preference emphasizing and make sure it's on performance, because this gives you the best performance possible. It makes the game just a little bit more responsive. Next up, go to manage 3D settings. Low latency mode is automatically off, but I like to play it with ultra. I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference, but why not? And then for monitor technology, I prefer to play with ULBM, or ultra low motion blur. And this essentially reduces the amount of motion blur in the game, so you can see people way easier. Under texture filtering quality, I prefer to put it on high performance. So essentially just stuff that increases the overall performance. Not necessarily your FPS in game, but just how quickly you can aim and shoot. Next up, go to adjust desktop color settings, and you want to make sure you turn up digital vibrance to at least 80%, because this makes all the colors pop way better. If you want to play the stretched res, change the scaling to full screen, and then also check override the scaling mode set by games and programs. If you go in game and change the resolution to like 4:3 and then I don't know, like 1280 by 960, it'll actually simulate a 4:3 aspect ratio, but then it'll stretch it out so it looks a little bit different. It's kind of weird, but personally, I prefer to play native res. And the main reason why is obviously you have more field of view, so you can see more stuff in your peripheral vision, and also it just makes the skins look that much better. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this video was helpful, of course, drop a like and make sure to subscribe with the bell icon rung if you haven't already. This Friday is the beginning of a brand new project. I'm really excited about it and hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to stay active on the channel, keep watching all the new videos because I have a lot of bangers planned. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's Turbo and I'm out. Peace.